This video is brought to you by NetSuite by Oracle. If you are a CEO who's tired of using QuickBooks or tired of the nonsense of running multiple programs at once, upgrade to NetSuite to more effectively run your company. It's time for round 2 of the NFL playoffs. That would be the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. And it's a really tough week to make predictions. I think if you're a fan of football, you're very lucky because what I am predicting is a bunch of really close games that are fun and interesting and exciting. We got 4 games, 8 really tough, really good football teams. And I want to start with the Buccaneers at the Saints. It's what I got the most to say about. I feel like half the video could be Buccaneers Saints. That's the game I'm most excited to watch this weekend. It's Sunday Night Football. A lot of storylines here. Personally, I am picking the Buccaneers to win this game. It's cliche, but it's true. I think the Buccaneers are a much different team now than they were earlier in the year. They have lost to the Saints twice this year, and Brady has 5 interceptions against New Orleans. Now, they played them week 1 and week 9. I don't know that it's entirely fair to judge them on week 1. Now, week 1, I rewatched that game. It was actually closer than I remember. Like, I went, oh, it's actually the Buccaneers were in the game. They were hanging around. But in the end, Tampa kind of out of sorts. They had a busted coverage. They had Tom Brady and Mike Evans really were not on the same page. There was an interception where Mike Evans looked like he didn't expect the ball, and he slowed down, and it looked like the wrong route. It's confusing there. Some problems. This is a really tough game for Tampa Bay. But first game, new offense, fair enough. Now, week 9, you go, wow, they got crushed. It was like 38-3. Yes, and we'll talk about the problems from that game in a minute. But also I want to remember that it was the first game with Tampa Bay and Antonio Brown. And that's a whole, you had 9 weeks or 8 weeks, 8 games, I guess, or 8 weeks of chemistry building in Tampa. Then you brought in another factor, and I'll be honest, you screwed it all up. You had a whole new wrinkle and more chemistry to learn. And there was a play where Antonio Brown looked like he ran the wrong route. That led to an interception for the Saints against Tampa Bay. And it was really alarming. Tampa started the game with 4 3-and-outs week 9 against New Orleans. Then they had an interception on a tip screen pass that led to kind of a divulsion of the offense. And so they devolved, and they looked like they were taking more chances, trying to just make something happen late in the game. And the Saints had great coverage downfield. That allowed the defensive line to get pressure on Tom Brady. Not a great game. Week 9, I acknowledge, like, big problems there. And week 9, the Buccaneers also gave up a really easy busted coverage. Like, the Saints had a wide open touchdown where you're like, what is our defense doing? And not we, but if you're a Buccaneers fan or Buccaneers player, looking at you're on the sideline going like, what was that? I don't understand. And from week 9 to now, the Buccaneers have grown even more. I thought they grew from week 1 to 9, and then ironically they got killed. But you gained chemistry. You added another factor on offense. You fall apart again. The defense has gotten better all year, and the Saints may win this game. My prediction of picking the Buccaneers to win could be wrong. Tom Brady's my favorite player of all time. I'm not going to hide my bias here, right? I am torn. I don't want to pick against Tom Brady. I'm not going to. The Saints may win this game. But what I am very confident about, this will be a close game. This is not going to be a blowout. People thinking the Saints are going to blow out Tampa Bay, that's not going to happen. I would be shocked, and I don't think that's possible based on the progression we've seen from Tampa all year. And I think it's going to be a really fun, exciting game to watch. Now, one matchup that'll be interesting. Matchup's probably the wrong word here. In week 9, now part of this is because it was a blowout, but 12 New Orleans Saints players caught a pass against Tampa Bay. 12. They were sharing the wealth like crazy. Now, part of that, again, it's a blowout. You're taking starters out of the game. But even in other games, for the most part, New Orleans, they spread the ball around a lot. They get a lot of people catching the football. And other than that Christmas Day game where Alvin Kamara had 6 touchdowns and, kind of was the star of that game, normally they share the ball a lot, like very evenly with the New Orleans Saints. And even in that game, like, I know Kamara had 6 touchdowns, but he was really capping off and finishing drives. Like, they were moving the ball, mostly throwing the football. And so maybe a fun storyline to follow is how many New Orleans Saints players catch a ball on Sunday night against New Orleans. Now, one other thing that might matter, I don't know whether this matters or not, but it's worth asking the question. It feels like Drew Brees' final chance to win a Super Bowl. This is like his last hurrah. He's probably going to retire. He'll be broadcasting for NBC next year. where Tom Brady does seem like he has another year or two left in the tank after this year. How does that play a part? I don't know. Is there a different sense of urgency with Drew Brees? I don't know. But I want to point out, this feels like Drew Brees' final opportunity to win a Super Bowl, where it feels like just the beginning of Tom Brady stirring up trouble and making stuff happen in Tampa Bay with the Buccaneers. Now, the Rams and Packers, I am picking Green Bay to win. Not very controversial. The Rams quarterback, Jared Goff, has been struggling a ton. He's got a thumb injury. Even before the thumb injury, he was just looking really not very confident and kind of a mess. And I've said all year, I think Jared Goff hit a plateau where we've seen what he is. We've seen his best play, and he's just not improving anymore. Now, I'm excited to watch Aaron Rodgers and the Packers offense. And they're going to play a really good LA Rams defense that's an elite defense, an elite offense, an elite quarterback. Should be very, very fun. However, the matchup to pay attention to is the Packers defense against the LA Rams offense, the way the Rams use motion, the way they run the football. If I were the Packers defensive coordinator, I would be saying, we are going to force Jared Goff to beat us throwing the football. He had struggles before the injury. Then he hurt his thumb on his throwing hand. If we're going to lose this game, which we're probably not, but if we're going to lose this game with Jared Goff beating us over the top, vertically, over and over and over again. Make Jared Goff beat you. Do not allow the Rams running game to beat you, because that's their strength of their team, especially with an injured quarterback. Just keep your eye on that. Now, I also would imagine, and I know it's cliche. I've been saying cliches a lot in the segment, I guess, but I don't know how you can't imagine LA is going to go from. So on Saturday, today, it's 85 degrees in LA. 85. It's 32 degrees and snowing in Green Bay. I don't know how you look at an LA football team going from, I mean, just think about this. Every day you wake up, you're not cold in Los Angeles. You wake up in Wisconsin, if your heat isn't turned up, you're cold when you wake up. You touch the ground, it's a little bit cold. Like, it's a different, you go outside, it's, the cold hits different in Wisconsin. I lived in Minnesota as a kid. It's close enough. They share a border. And I lived in LA briefly. Like, I'll tell you what, it's a stark contrast, and I would imagine that this will play a part. The cold to some degree, like I remember I played a game once, we played in Central Washington. Really cold, bunch of snow there, and their players walked out with like no undershirts, like just the bellies hanging out, and it's like there's snow and frost on the ground, the turf and the ground, so it was grass, but it was like running on ice. You had to have almost metal baseball cleats to get through the grass because it was so icy. And I and a lot of our players had not one, not two, but 3 long sleeve shirts trying to stay warm. They were literally wearing no undershirt, pads, and their bellies hanging out. I'm like, oh, they're used to the cold. It's different. I think something like that could happen. I know you're an NFL team, you're gonna prepare for that, but I expect cold to play some kind of factor in this game. And now another thing to watch, a big matchup people are hyping up in this game. Keep your eye on the Rams corner, Jalen Ramsey, guarding the Packers receiver Davante Adams. Now, the matchup keeps being hyped up. I keep hearing like Jalen Ramsey. Is he gonna shut down Davante Adams? Ooh, You do realize that the Rams defense doesn't really operate that way. They're not going to move Jalen Ramsey back and forth with Davante Adams. I mean, they will to some degree. He's like kind of their strong side corner in zone defense. Like, so if Davante Adams on the stronger side, the bigger threat side, they will move Jalen Ramsey from right to left. But they do it based on their system. They don't really. I would be surprised if the Rams compromised their defensive system to match Davante, to try to stop Davante Adams. I don't think that's going to happen. And I guess maybe the question is, will the Rams break protocol and do something they haven't done all year and have Jalen Ramsey shadow Davante Adams? I don't think so. But it'll be fun to see, and we'll find out. Now, the Browns at the Kansas City Chiefs. You guys know I love Cleveland. I love the Browns. I like Baker Mayfield. I root for Cleveland. I'm excited they won a playoff game. It's amazing. And I think it's over. I hate saying that. I don't like saying that. But I fear that Kansas City is going to win this game and win big by a lot. I hope I'm wrong. I think part of the factor here is that I think Kansas City's defense actually doesn't get enough credit. They're still the same defense that won a Super Bowl last year. They play some really good football. Steve Spagnuolo has great design. Tyrann Matthews there. Like, I don't know why we forget. I know why. We forget because of Patrick Mahomes, but Kansas City's defense can still play. They're still a very good defense. And then when it comes down to it, I believe that the Chiefs' offense and Patrick Mahomes can pull away at the end of the game when it matters most. If the Browns win this game, if the Browns want to win this game, they're going to have to score a ton of points. The Browns, if they win, they're going to win like 48-46 or 49-45. It's going to be, you have to outscore Patrick Mahomes, and you got to sacrifice. You got to do different stuff. And I want to see the Browns play the kind of game where they're going for it on fourth down. They're calling risky trick plays. They got to go balls to the wall, put everything on the line, pedal to the metal, make it happen. I want to see the Browns risk it. I don't want to see the Browns play conservative. You can't play conservative and beat Kansas City. Did anybody watch that Raiders game when the Raiders beat Kansas City? They played their best football, and they went for it on fourth down. They had touchdowns, not field goals. They took risks. They played great football, and they allowed Kansas City. They needed to rely on Kansas City to make a mistake or two. I love Mahomes. He is prone to a mistake. Remember he had that sack a couple weeks ago where he took this massive, 40-yard sack? Patrick Mahomes, if you give him enough rope, he will screw up and make some kind of mistake. So the Browns can win this game, but they got to go for it on fourth down. They need touchdowns, not field goals. They need to play their best game they've played all year, and they need to, frankly, rely on the Chiefs to make some kind of mistake at some point in this game and capitalize on that. They got to have points off turnovers. Now, an interesting storyline in this game, the Browns running back, Kareem Hunt, one of them, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, they're the two running backs in Cleveland. He was cut by Kansas City, and he's going to be looking to make his old team understand what they're missing out on by cutting him. I would love to see Kareem Hunt have a ton of yards. And remember, he had a personal issue off the field, and it sounds like he's really grown from it. I believe he talked to the NFL rookies. Like, he really has done a lot of work, I believe, in his personal life to move forward from what happened. And I shouldn't even said that. I don't want to dive into it, but I would be fascinated to see whether or not Kareem Hunt has a huge day against his former team. Now, the Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. I'm confident the Bills are going to win. Confidence is the wrong word. Yeah, no. Okay. I believe the Bills are going to win this football game, and it comes down to their offense. Their offense has more polish. I trust them more. You got Stephon Diggs, you got Josh Allen, but you also have Cole Beasley. And if I had to ask you which offense can put up more points, or if one team, Buffalo or the Ravens, which team, if I told you, hey, it was a blowout, one of the teams won by 40 points, would you think Buffalo or the Ravens? I would think Buffalo. I think Buffalo has a more potent, more polished offense. They put up 48 on Denver. They put up 38 on the Patriots. They put up 56 on Miami. That's their final 3 games of the year. 27 on the Colts, who have really good defense last week. And they were rolling the first half last week. I think Josh Allen, I like him, but I will say, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, 2 third-year quarterbacks. They're coming off their first ever playoff win each. And both teams are very good. This is going to be a hard-fought, close game. I think the edge goes to Buffalo. They got a better offense. I think they're sharper. I think that I love Lamar. I thought Lamar, especially in the red zone last week, was not as sharp as he could have been. However, I'm picking Buffalo to win. The X factor in this game, the thing that could put this game all on its head and ruin everybody's predictions and ruin any kind of line or whatever's going on. Lamar Jackson's ability to run the football. He turns a sack into a touchdown last week against Tennessee. He can make plays like that where sometimes you just got to go. There's nothing to stop that. If Lamar Jackson has an amazing day running the football, he could throw the ball well, but I think if Lamar wants to win, he's going to have a couple amazing plays running the football against the Buffalo Bills. And that could screw up my prediction. He's very dangerous running the football, but I'm picking the Bills to win over the Baltimore Ravens.